Hello, everyone. It gives me great pleasure to host this fourth episode of Game Changers of India, welcoming corporate captains who have moved the needle, made a mark, and brought huge quantum of learning for all of us. It gives me great pleasure of welcoming Ajay Puri.
Thank you.
We placed him in Airtel in 2004, and he was there till 2021. But I've really met too many people who are that sincere, humble, and committed. And when we go through this episode, I'm sure some of you will agree with me. Ajay is one of those corporate captains who has launched, who has built businesses from scratch, who has turned around businesses. He's worked with very diverse companies like VST, Cargill, and obviously Airtel, where he made history. He's fought many battles where the entire telecom industry was put under test, and I'm sure you all recollect the Reliance launch. And what is more, ensured during all these turbulent times that the business continued to grow. He joined Airtel in 2004, where he launched the Orissa Circle, and very soon, in 2 years' time frame, Airtel was a dominant player with over 30% market share in the Orissa market. So, as we go undergo this conversation, I'm sure there'll be huge learnings for all of us. But welcome to the show, Ajay. It is a proud privilege and an honor to welcome you. And we are very, very proud of having placed you in Airtel. And you obviously delivered more than what anybody would expect. Welcome to the show, Ajay.
Many thanks, Ronesh, for having me here. And thanks for your kind words. I think it's been pleasure both interacting with you and delivering what I did in my extended over 4 decade professional career. So yeah, happy to share it with both emerging leaders, mature leaders, and people, who want to learn from each other because learning never stops. So happy to share my experiences and hopefully some of these would be of value to people.
I'm sure they would be, Ajay. What has really worked for you? What is the secret sauce that has really got you where you are?
Ronesh is very simple. I think I will use two words: gratitude and attitude. If you combine the source of gratitude and attitude in life, life becomes extremely pleasant, full, and purposeful. Gratitude is be thankful to the Almighty for what you have. Do not keep cribbing about what you don't, and do not keep chasing unnecessarily, the material world. And attitude is that have positivity in yourself. Work, look at the things around you. Have a attitude of saying we will turn around, we will change it, and make a very realistic plan. There's no good. It's not good to have a over optimistic plans, but it's good to have a realism baked in. But once you have a challenge or a task on hand, go with full force, complete passion, commitment, and then, I would also add to this simplicity. I think as a leader, you need to simplify things. Today's world, our lives are quite complex. Decisions are quite complex. Environments are quite complex. If we can simplify things and put it in few, 3 or 4 modes, and say these are the 3 or 4 things, if we do it right, we will make the difference. And so simplify. And the second nugget that I would share with everybody in Ronesh is that you need to build a team of professionals and capable leaders around you. Don't look for mirror images. If you create mirror images, you are limiting your chances of success. So have diversity in your team. Look for people who can challenge you, who can challenge the environment, who can challenge the boardrooms, and therefore have a very strong personal conviction about it. Debates are far better than silence. So I would say uh, work with gratitude, have a positive attitude in life. Your life will become a lot more purposeful and fulfilling.
Very well said. And you're right, it's all about people.
Yes.
But when you hire people, what do you look for? And what is a no no?
Okay. I think I hire people for attitude. I mean, I'm very clear about it. Skills are important. So there is a threshold of skills that you must have for the job that you're looking for. But it's not for skill that you will do a gross rejection. But if it's an attitude, not being people leader, not being positively inclined, too much of self coming out of you, too much of I did it comes out of you, then those are some of the gross negatives. But otherwise, I would say I would prefer to hire somebody who has a hunger in him, who is willing to take those bold risks along with you and run from the front.
Where do people get it wrong when it comes to people?
I think in life, learning and unlearning is equally important. A lot of people live with in their past and they have that self belief that I've done it before and therefore I will be able to do it in with the same mode. But every situation is very different, Ronesh. In fact, we were extremely successful in India as a telecom player. And but we had our own failures when it came to some of the global rollouts. Or I mean, I would say failure is probably a strong word, but our own learnings there. I remember I was responsible for Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, and those markets were very different. They were very unique, and we believed that India sauce will work there in a copy paste model, but it didn't. Um, Telecom is such a space that every time every customer's experience is very personal, unlike in other industries. And therefore, we possibly did not give initially the network quality that they deserved or they needed to compete for. Uh, and we created a huge launch, huge, riding on the India's success and India's equity of the brand. But early numbers were not necessarily very encouraging. Till we changed our model, we quickly adapted to the local requirements, and we gave them the network quality which which was the best in those markets, and the model worked. And the same thing has happened in my first stint of BST, which is BAT Associate Company. We had launched, I don't know whether you would recall, in 1983, a brand called Charms. But there was one state in India which did not work, and that was Bihar, Jharkhand, combined state. Our market share was as low as 6%, whereas nationally we had moved up in that segment to 30-40%. And that was the time when I was asked to take over Bihar as a circle CEO or whatever. We used to call it branch manager in cigarette industry those days. I was asked to take it over. And I went there and I realized quickly what's wrong on the ground, because nothing wrong with the brand, nothing wrong with the everything, but on the ground things were not working. And quickly simplified the whole approach, said what's not working is our basic partner equity with the partners, our distribution efforts, and some of the very basics of business. We corrected it, Ronesh, and in 2 years' time, we moved business there 12x from a 6 crore to 100 crore model. And so that was, again, that, you don't carry your northern learnings and saying, okay, all over, we've launched Charms very successfully. Why should Bihar not be? But no, I mean, we looked at what's really faulting, what's really, not working for us, and then solved it with a simplicity, took the team along with, built that commitment and conviction into them and yourself, saying it will happen. One thing it calls for, Ronesh, always in life is hard work.
Right.
Right? In my life, I've learned it, that there is no easy win. It calls for a lot of sacrifices, a lot of hard work. So in Bihar or later in Cargill world or in Airtel world, I used to have a routine which is, I would say, both very daring and possibly taxing. So, but that's made the difference because the team feels your presence. The team feels you there.
So one secret sauce is the harder you work, the luckier you get.
Yes, harder you work, more positively inclined you work, and yes.
So you've done uh, built three businesses from scratch, Ajay. So what are the do's and don'ts for people who want to do the same?
I think do's are very simple.
Mm.
Do's are very simple. Pick up the right industry. Every time I went, I mean, VST was not a, that time I wasn't wise enough. So I picked up a category, I picked up an industry, but it was a very cushy job. Stable markets, loyalty of the brands very, very high, 65% EBITDA. So that was phenomenal. I made strides there in the sense I started from a scratch. So I wanted to join a growth industry. I wanted to come into an industry which is where there's a real growth happening and a lot of the newness is there. So the choice was between food and telecom. And that is when I joined Cargill. And Cargill, our mandate was simple. Cargill is a global, over 100 billion those days, 120 billion plus dollar food processing and trading company. They had no reference to the brands. They were used to supply to the branded companies, but they didn't have their own brands per se, B2C brands. So the mandate in India was very clear, simple. Give us an experience of creating staple brands in India. One liner. And that is when we got hired. So I came into Cargill, and it became, we launched 7 categories, Ronesh, and in every category we were number 2 or challenging number 1. And we were competing against world's biggest players, Unilever, Conagra, Pillsbury, and some of Indian brands. But happy to say that we did extremely well. Today that business is over $2.5 billion in India.
But if I have to start a business, and I'm sure there are young entrepreneurs wanting to get there, 3 things that you would say, Ajay, that they should do and 3 things that they should avoid. What would they 3 be?
One, I think, look at the growth categories.
Okay.
And, and look at the opportunities. And then look at how do you bring a differentiation? What value add do you bring? Do you have a real reason to succeed there? And if you do have it, and then I think construct a right team to support you. Get the right talent, right people.
Coming to Sunil, what are 2, 3 things that have helped him get where he has reached today? Personal qualities?
Yeah. Extremely entrepreneurial in his approach. He can take decisions through his instinct like in minutes. And I think he's one of those rare first generation entrepreneurs who built such a large empire, not in India, but now globally, and doing extremely well in the space that he is master, which is the telecom space, both in India and Africa.
So, Ajay, one of the things that you did, which is really remarkable, was turning around Bengal. It was languishing for about 5 years, and Airtel puts you there in charge, and pronto in 2 to 3 years' time, you turn it around.
Yeah. So, Ronesh, I came from tobacco, which is cigarettes, to food and to telecom in 2004. And my first mandate was to launch Orissa, when we just got the license of Orissa, and I was asked to launch Orissa. And we quickly, we invested heavily there. Barren, absolutely blank sheet. And in 2 years' time, we were 48 share of the market in Orissa. Left the 2 big players behind us. And that is when this, the system expected me to come to Bengal. Bengal, we were still languishing at, we were 5-year-old. We had bought the license 5 years back, but we were operating in Calcutta. We were operating at 13% market share, and Bengal was just getting launched, rolling out the networks. And what I really realized there that it did not need a rocket science. It needed a simple approach to business. Sit back, understand what's not working, go to the market, take the consumer feedback, take the partner feedback, channel feedback, understand what's not working for you. Business normally have two or three things which either fail you or define you. And it was very simple. In Calcutta, we were over-complexing the situation. We were over-complicating the, propositions, and our network was not as comparable as it used to be or as sturdy as it used to be. Our consumer trust was missing there, both at an enterprise level and at a consumer level. I remember one situation. I visited few stores of Airtel, and there was huge negative voice, hue and cry about service quality, service effectiveness, and network qualities and all that. Now, that morning, that day, I came back and I got my mobile number published in every single Airtel store, and I said, this is your store manager's number, this is your area manager's number, this is XYZ, and this is finally Ajay Puri's number, mobile number. It did take toll on me because I started getting multiple calls every day, and I used to get those calls even till when I was not directly responsible for Bengal, but I kept getting those calls. But it created two things. One, and the same number went into all the enterprises, all the SMBs, enterprises accounts, saying through a personal mailer. And it gave them the confidence there's somebody who is willing to help. And it was not only giving number, but it was also responding on their queries and their questions. Every phone was picked up, every mail was answered. And that confidence was important. Coupled it with simplicity of the processes and infrastructure and network quality. I think these two or three things we did. And it magically came, from 13 to 30. We were close number 2 from number 5 position. When I went there, we were 5th operator struggling. But we came to 30 and the leader was at 31.
Remarkable. What are your personal convictions, beliefs that have shaped you to what you are today?
You have to be seen as a leader, not because you have a title, but you need to be loved for the behavior that you demonstrate, for the way you deal with people. So people sensitivity is extremely important. Leading the people in the right way is important. You have to be one of them. You can't be managing them. So you have to work with them, not through them. So I think some of those things really matter. I've always believed in creating teams of high caliber. But more importantly, Ronesh, in fact, I am so proud of the fact, not because I am where I am, but because my team members are where they are. There are many of them who are CEOs, MDs today in their different industries. So, at least if I can say nearly 8 or 10 of them who've done extremely well and are running businesses in different spaces. And then there are others who have become part of the larger leadership ecosystems and all that. So I think it's important that you demonstrate right values, build teams around you, and enable them and give them space to work while you are still deep into the numbers and deep into with them. So that's what helps.
Ajay, you moved up to the CEO's position, which is a very vital for any organizations. And what are your takeaways and some do's and don'ts that you'd like to share with the audience?
Yes, Ronesh. I think it's reasonably simple in the way I look at it. Create a very positive work environment in the organization. Rather than, so if there are, and there would be stresses from the marketplace, there would be stresses potentially from the board, reviews and board feedbacks. But it's always good to be able to absorb some of that as a sponge and not let everything pass on to the team down the line. Very often CEOs or leaders make the mistake of letting all their pressures down to the last man. And it doesn't work, it doesn't help. It only, makes the team less effective and less efficient. The other thing is a lot of people say that the corner room is very lonely.
Right.
I personally believe it's not lonely because it happens to be there, lonely. It's because we decide or we choose to be lonely. The bit of an arrogance, bit of a self comes in to start playing there. I think if you decide to work with people, whether you are in the corner room or in the middle layer management, and work with people, connect with people, then I think the room is not lonely. And you are not alone to take all decisions. You start taking a collective decision. While finally the buck stops at you, you must make the final judgment and final call. But it has to be a consultative process. It has to be a so-called democratic process where you listen to people, understand their point of views and their views, and then take a call. So I would say, as CEOs, do not consider ever yourself to be lonely and to be alone, and don't shoulder the entire burden on your shoulders. Share it with your teams. They are equally capable, and work as a collective through a collective wisdom.
You created a great rapport with Gopal Vittal. You were told that you were awesome twosome by some of the people who worked with both of you. And what really helped there? Because the equation between the CEO and CEO sometimes gets complicated.
Yes.
And navigating that, I mean, there's no easy task.
We knew that we are complementing each other. We are not necessarily overlapping each other. So we knew our spaces very clearly, and I think I must give credit to Gopal for what he did. He gave me a complete open space. I don't think he ever interfered or intervened. He would think little 30,000 kind of feet, while he will come down to on ground very quickly from that 30,000 feet space. But I would largely stay on the execution side on the ground and often travel towards the 30,000 feet. So it was that combination that worked between us. I think we were partners in crime in a way. And that's what Gopal says, that I had the best partner in crime of building Airtel for what I did.
And Airtel faced an existential crisis wherein the Reliance Jio launch. I mean, there were a lot of people who felt that Airtel may not survive and might buckle under. And you were severely tested at during that time. What really helped you navigate? I mean, you were the company and make it what it is today.
So, and then came the battle of the battles when the Reliance made its second entry into telecom. This time, far more fierce one, with very heavy investments. I think billions of dollars. It's possibly in the public domain. The $40-50 billion got invested into a business without even a single rupee being earned. $30 billion of telecom industry's top line went down by 35%.
Right.
Margins eroded, everything happened. The model got completely altered and changed, and the 14 operators had to buckle down. So almost everybody shut shops. Some of them we bought over, some of them just winded down and went off. And Voda and Idea, which had a combined market share of 47, decided to merge for the synergies of the cost and whatever benefits. And that 47 share is a good, a story that everybody knows. It's today down to 15 for whatever reason. And we moved from 30 to 37 share by keeping just 2 or 3 things in mind. One, this is a phase that will pass. And Sunil used to often say, resilience, and if there is a very strong storm, just bend a little bit, let the storm pass. Don't lose focus from where on what you want to be on. So our focus remained our consumers, and we said we must not lose any consumers. Sunil kept saying, market share you must protect. Rest I will see. Don't worry about the EBITDAs. Don't worry about the balance sheet at this stage. I will protect you all on that. Protect the market share, protect your high value customers, and retain them. So Reliance launched 300 million customers. They got gathered without charging for 9-10 months, free services and a 30 billion market. And then thereafter, it was a battle of, wits, battle of execution, excellence, and battle of staying focused on 2 or 3 core things: our consumers, our network quality, and our team, people. And I happily say there today that our team remained intact. They all were working for a cause. They were not working for another organization. So
fantastic achievement, Ajay, and no easy
and we are
task
now 40
at all.
share, and now we are 40 share.
Yes,
from 30 to 40.
Correct. For 12 years, you were on the board. There are a lot of people who aspire to get to the board. Very few know what it really entails. What would be your prescription for success and to get there?
Is the larger interest of the small stakeholders, and which is either the invisible investors, if they have, if the company is already public, or the consumers, and creating a sustainable business model. So the smaller investors, the consumers, and the employees, and creating a sustainable business model. Sometime, the orientation is to look at the market caps, top line growth, not being profitable doesn't matter, but let's grab the market. I think I have a slightly different view here. It must be a sustainable business model. If you can't create a sustainable model today, it is very difficult to create it after 3 years. And keep an eye on the smaller stakeholders, investors, consumers, employees, and create a model business which is more sustainable.
Really waiting for it, Ajay. What has really made you take to writing?
No, thank you very much. Yes, I was always I was never very serious about writing my memoir or my learnings in life. However, one interaction with one young budding leader, and he sends me a WhatsApp probably 8-9 months back, and he says, "Sir, everything is all right. How things are with you, and so forth." I have a question in my head. What really is important for success? Hard work, sincerity, hard work, or the luck and His grace? What matters? So, and what really is the biggest influencer? And I had to respond to him, and I responded in my own way. I said, "Listen, I mean, the luck, your is something that is not in your hand. It is this divine blessing. Let it flow the way it will flow. But what is in your hand is your own hard work, sincerity, purpose, your passion, your commitment to the cause. So keep doing that right, and leave everything else to the Almighty." And kind of conversation. But after that message exchange, I just started. Thought just came to me. I said, these questions must be there, and similar questions must be there in many budding leaders and budding professionals' head and people's head. Why should I not write my experience on my personal life, my professional learnings, and also a small spiritual journey that I have been part of in the last few years of my life? And why should I not share it? Because it's important to share it. So that is why the book, The Forever Student, is a must.
All the very best, and we are all, I think, waiting for it.
Thank
you did touch on the spiritual side. How important is spiritual quotient in today's world?
Ronesh, if you're asking me this question today, my answer is very important. I think it's extremely important in life to have a spiritual connect with any body, you call it Sadguru, call it any, somebody who can give you a wisdom in your life, and stay grounded with that and take the basic preachings of that forward. So, things like, simple mantra of ABC, no ahem, no arrogance, no blaming anybody, and no complaining about the life. If you can follow these basics, and then there is a line that at least my guru's favorite line, Banda Banja. Be a good human being. Be positively inclined, help others, Vanchako, Guru Nanak Dev has said. And, wherever you can't help or you can't do anything, just be very polite. Nive okay raho, life mein. So some of these nuggets, I think, have come to in life more enlightened way in the more recent past. And I think the life is a lot fuller today than what it was possibly in the first 40 years of my career, while I achieved what I had to achieve and, His grace. But I think the last 5 years are far more profound and far more enriching. I think it's a far more fuller plate today than it was before.
Wonderful. A lot will change in the corporate world in the years to come. What do you think future leaders have to watch out for? What would be your prescription for them?
Yeah, one thing is very clear that the professional space is changing rapidly.
Correct.
Whether it is data led, whether it's in AI, technology, I think all that is, really coming at a pace faster than what we can imagine. So I would say stay abreast with all the technology. A new leader must stay abreast with the technology. But we will have to blend the technology and our personal native values far more strongly, and therefore stay abreast with the technology. And also impact on people. I think we must not ever be ever selfish and self-centered about it. We must say what impact are we creating, not only on business, but the people around us. So I think some of these things, if you can focus on, life will be very enriching.
Wonderful, Ajay. We'll just go through some rapid fire with your permission.
Yes.
One thing that brings a smile on Ajay's face.
People success, including my family.
Your best career decision.
Always being on the edge and willing to take big risks.
Any career regret?
No. I think I could have been a little more selfish about my personal health.
If you were to relive your corporate life and enter the corporate world today, what are a couple of things that you would take as priorities?
I think a global good, a national good would be very important to me. I think any job which helps the larger equation and which helps the larger cause is very good. So, pick up the spaces where you think you are adding value to the nation, you are adding value to the society at large, and work and give your best into those spaces is what I would call.
What are a couple of things that could be done to bring an Indian global brand?
Be successful first in your own space and then have the horizon of global markets and keep rolling it out globally. First, more akin markets and then the markets which are more challenging and so on and so forth. Airtel has found a very unique model of doing it. First India and then neighborhood markets and then Africa, large continent, picking up 15, 17 markets there and rolling it out. And now they have got a stake in BT. Let's see what next. But so.
Thank you very much, Ajay. I think this was very profound. Some of the prescriptions, I think, will be a great value addition. What I took as a takeaway from this is to obviously no shortcut to success. You have to work hard. Number two, you have to stay connected with the people. Number three, keep abreast with technology because a lot that is going to be changed. Be very positive. That's the only way you'll get positive outcomes in your life.
Yes.
And have faith in God and
Yes.
keep reinventing yourself.
Yeah.
I think wonderful. It's been a pleasure and honor to host you here, Ajay. Thank you very much for sparing the time and all the very best for your book. And I'm sure there'll be plenty more that will be on the way. Thank you.
Thank you, Ronesh. Thank you very much for having me over. And also thank you very much for summarizing it right. Thank you.